The prime meridian didn't exist until 1884. That's the Tropic of Cancer. This is the area where the ancient Tamanrasset River came out. This is Cape, well, according to most of these ancient maps, Cape Miric and Capo Blanco, Cape and Capo, sometimes they say Capo, sometimes they say Cape. Cape Blanco, Cape Miric, and of course down below for reference is Cape Verde. And that's where the Senegal River starts. Between these three capes, we've got the Senegal River coming out way, way down. And then we've got up above, and there's a couple other capes. There's Cape Barbas, and Punto de Sintra up here. It's another little thing you sometimes can see on these ancient maps, as far as I'm concerned. And you can see the main one here. This is, of course, Nouakchott is right there. So Dakar, I don't really care much about that. The Senegal comes out between Nouakchott and Dakar. And between Nouakchott and Capo Blanco is Cape Miric, and this is the place where the river came out. I used to wonder if the river came out at Nouakchott. Well, obviously it probably did too. If not, then it all came out here, but then there were plenty of inland rivers. Here's an ancient Roman map. I mean, we're talking about 2,000 years old. But if you look at this map, you realize compared to the Piri-Reis map, it was they didn't know anything. This was one of my favorites because it shows Hodeni, and we know where Huadain is, and we know it's right there by the eye of the Sahara. And then you see this ancient Tamanrasset going up, almost hitting the Maghreb Sea. This one right here, I think, is from the Christopher Columbus map, if I'm not mistaken. And you can, I don't know if I'm going to see my mouse. Okay, yep. There's clearly Cape Verde. There's clearly Cape Blanco. It's labeled so. And you can see two rivers coming out, and then the one down here is the Senegal. You can totally see a separation from this river structure and this river structure. So I've always talked about this. This is, in my opinion, this is something that the Spanish government already knew about. This line here is the what? Is the Tropic of Cancer. Not the Tropic of Capricorn. It's 23.5 degrees. 23.5 degrees north of the equator. This is something similar. This is like a related map. So you can see the problem here is that this is, okay, that's why it's a little tricky. Because you can see this big bite right here. I believe this is the Senegal River. This is the Senegal River. This is the complex. And then this river here shows the ancient Tamanrasset right there. Again, here you've got the Cape Verde with the two rivers that meet together. Here it's a little different. I think this is Ptolemaic related, but I'm not really sure, because I forgot all the names. I have the dates on a lot of maps, but I forget why these are not labeled. And you can see these two rivers. I mean, let's look at the real thing again. This is definitely the Senegal River, so you don't see the Tamanrasset. This is Ptolemaic related, and you do see a connection between the Nile River and the Senegal River meeting in the middle at this ancient lake, which really there still is a small version of that lake, is there not? Now, I do believe the word Hodeni is Huadain, underwater. You can see the mud bank out here, and you can see that the mud blocked the entrance to the river that is just north of Hodeni. This is definitely the Tamanrasset. See, it's so much clearer now for me. This is the 1554 Munster Sebastian map. It's got a date on it. And I believe this is what they really had. I believe that river probably still existed 500 years ago. Now, if not, then they're dealing with data they got from older sources. And I'd have to research that. You do see this big lake, and that would be the name of that lake. It's coming soon. I've got it right here. There's a lot of ancient canals around there. Now, this is a clip from the Piri-Reis map, and it shows, yeah, see, this one I should have put at the top, because I really think that it deserves to be talked about the most. I believe what I did was I put all the good pictures at the top here. I was trying to kind of recreate And so what I want to show you right now, and I'm not going to go back over all that old stuff, don't worry. I don't know why I put this stupid thing here, but you can see the mud bank, you can see the ancient Taman Reset, you can see the Cape Verde, you can see the Senegal River and the under one that they meet up in inland. I believe that's still true. But this river coming out underneath, this is on the Piri Reis map, and after watching that video, I trust the Piri Reis map more than ever. You can see this king. Is this not the richest man in Africa? Who is this guy? This is from the 1500s, but the map itself was based on more ancient sources. Some people say from the Library of Alexandria. Okay, I'm not gonna stop there because I want to go back down to where I was in this presentation. The ancient Taman Reset was definitely a separating factor that could have created a separation in the understanding between the difference in continents between, I mean, Plato wrote about the Diver Islands, so don't tell me the Azores is going to be the location. Plato wrote about, one more thing, the fact that it stretched out to Egypt, it stretched out to the Tyrrhenian Sea across Africa. So he wrote about these things. Okay, that was my presentation on. And then I started in the 1800s, and I didn't give a lot of credence to these maps. But you do see a river going right underneath the Cape Blanco here. Here's Verde, here's the Senegal. Where's that river going? Can you see Huadane? It must be under the river, right? This one, Cape Blanco, we see nothing. We see Hoden. This is 1851. And you can see it's the, I don't even want to say John Tallis map. Hoden. Okay, so I guess I did all the work. This is another map from 1889, and I did a close-up already. Now I know everything. You know it's right here. There's Huadane right there. I don't think I had realized that before. Chingete is there. I call it Chingete. It's probably not pronounced correctly. Chingete. Chingete. I don't know. 1700. Again, you can see Cape Verde. You can see the Senegal. You can see the river going right in. But here, it's not located south. This river is actually located just on Huadane or Huadane. And notice there's a little house here, probably some mansion, or there's little buildings. I think that means cities. This is Timbuktu. Timbuktu, I think it's right here. I want to go there someday, but I also want to go to Huadane. I want to go to the Eye of Africa. 1600, 1644. So what I did was I zoomed in on just this part. I didn't show the whole map, but it'll be a good reference to look them up if you want. You can look them up, and now that I know how to search these names much better, I can find the highest resolution very quickly. Again, we can see what this is, a building on the mountain, and that's a building. I don't know if it's a temple, I don't know if it's a castle, but there's one at Hoden, and so you've got Hoden, which is now not just the city of Hoden. You've also got Hoden, the nation, the country, the tribe. I don't know. This is 1644, so they had an association between the two areas. They definitely don't show the Eye of Africa. Okay, this is the one by Andrew Farre. I've already talked about this, so I won't say much more, but this is the whole thing. I think it's quite a beautiful shot. This is what I made the thumbnail out of, and I talked about it already. But as we go back, we can see that the Hoden shows up as a major city, a big city. Like no other cities nearby, like that's the only city, Huadane. There it is, but the river doesn't quite reach it. What's this one? This one is at 1584, Abraham Ortelius. Is that the same guy? Wait. That's Andrew Farre. So, see, I don't know who I'm looking at all the times. I don't know who did this one. The river doesn't reach it. You can see the Tropic of Cancer. You can see Cap Blanco is right on the line. So this must be, I think, 22. And this is not, according to that other map here, we see this. We can, oh no, not that one. I don't want to go back. We see it looked like it was the equator, but it wasn't the equator. It was more the that's 22 and this is 23. This is 20 or maybe 18. Obviously, this is that Sebastian Munster map that I like so much. It shows so much. It's so beautiful. I really want to make this the thumbnail, but I might not do that this time. What's this guy doing? Monoculi. So that's the guy with one eye. Monoculi. And you can see this big map. This is 1554, Munster Sebastian. He's making the Nile River separate here and come back together, separate here and come back together, go into mountains. That's very spread out. It looks just like those on the maps, but it's so much larger. And he's got some specific names here, you know. And boy, these really are the best ones. So I believe this is the ancient Maghreb Sea. This is showing, in my opinion, since that would be Cape Verde, this is showing Cape Blanco, and that would be the Taman Reset leading to the Maghreb Sea. And then leading to across the Sahara, there's one river that comes out here by Sardinia and Sicily. And then over here, they don't show the connection here. That, I believe, is Ptolemaic. This one, I believe, is also Ptolemaic, but it's got the connection. And what those are, that's a mountain, so these are lakes, I guess, huh? These are mountains. These are not lakes. These are not rivers. These are mountains. And I don't know why the rocks are... I think this is upside down. Yeah, it is upside down. This one, this is the Ortelius Abraham. And what I believe is they've got these... I don't want to say it again. I said sperm-shaped lakes and rivers going to the Atlas Mountains. This is the... This is right... That's the... Canary Islands, so this would be the Cancer, Tropic of Cancer. So this down below it would be, you can see barely any rivers penetrating. We've got this one, Senegal. I believe that's Cape Verde. I believe this would be it here. You don't see Huadain. You see Teguni. You see another river just north going to the mountains, and another one here and another one here. Who knows why there's so many rivers in North Africa coming from the mountains, but I guess in 1584, maybe he was looking more at the land formation, not the actual flow of water. Okay, this one right here, I believe this is like one of the old Ptolemaics. I think we can see that written right here. And this is Africa, and you can see it's very, very inferior. You can still see a river going through to the Nile. Then you've got these islands going down along like that. Plato probably knew these as the Diver Islands. This is what I think of when I think of Plato. Plato writing about what he knows to be the Diver Islands. And look, you do have an island here. You've got a whole bunch of islands in the Mediterranean. I don't really know what that's about. Well, I know we know that's not really true, though. And maybe if we look closer, maybe those are boats or something. I don't know. Or maybe those are little notes. I really don't understand why what it is. There's a lot of notes all over the place. Maybe he wrote a note and he didn't want to cover the note, so he went around it with his ink. Now this, I believe, is the mountain range, because the Nile is this blue line here, so these are rivers, and that's pretty crude. Here we see Mauritania at the Pillars of Hercules. Thank you. The pillars. The word pillar didn't want to spit out. Now you've got here the two rivers on both sides. That's the Verde. I believe this is Ptolemaic related, and that's Egypt, Ptolemy. I could be wrong. You can see a river in here. They call it the Niger River. So I think everything's messed up here, right? Mauritania. Somebody like is joking at this point, in my opinion. Here's another one that's very similar, and it's a really crude. I think this is the Herodotus map at this point. Maybe I'm wrong about that, because here you can see, again, Mauritania here. This is Ptolemy. And I guess the Ptolemy collection, they'd have different years. This is 150. So it's pretty much 100 or 1900 years old. Atlas Mountains, Getulia. I'd like to know more about that word. I'd like to know Garamantis. What's that word? This is all capitals. This is upper and lower case. Also, as you can see, this says Ethiopia Interior down here. So now we know that's not true. Here's in Ethiopia. So I guess that means that this used to be Atlantis, right? And this used to be this tribe, I want to call it a tribe. Anyways, Mauritania wasn't here. I don't understand why it shifted from there to there. So there's obviously some inferiority with this knowledge. This is the Herodotus map, which he didn't draw. He wrote, and this was taken. So this is pretty... by the way, I believe I need to research it more because I only focused on the Atlas part, and I think I need to see how he connects this in his writings. This is one of my favorite. Now, Andrew Farre, I mean, he does show a connection here. The Pillars of Hercules, it's not going through. So was he exaggerating? Was he just making it look good? I mean, he's failing you right there. I think that this map was actually recreated. I think it's a recreation of his map. So I don't know why it shows Africa and Spain connected. It's very interesting that that's like that. And you can see what I love about this map. It says Nile flowing from Atlanta. So the Atlas Mountains are here. Atlas, but this says Atlanta. So Atlanta and Atlas are not the same. So flowing from, the Nile flowing from Atlantis. Now there's probably what I interpret to be the Maghreb Sea. But there's definitely, when they show these ancient lakes, they don't show a connection between Nile and the Maghreb Sea. The Maghreb Sea had a connection from leaving through the Taman Reset for sure. I line it up soon. Here's another Herodotus map that somebody made. And let's see, they show, again, Atlantis on this. And they show Garamantes. That's why I'm kind of curious. Now, Garamantes and Atlantis uses a similar font. And then they have a different font for Amman and Syene. Those are cities. Cyrene, that's a city. It doesn't show Egypt. WTF. So, I mean, if Herodotus made this, why don't they put Egypt on the map? Who made this? Obviously, somebody was inspired by Herodotus' writings to make this. Why is there a question mark by the word Atlantis? What is Soleil, if I'm not mistaken. The pillars, Pyrene, the Celts, outer or Atlantic Sea, unexplored. Okay, so anyways, it's an interesting map. The one thing I focused on was this Atlantis. Here's another one that shows Atlantis and Antarantis. What is Antarantis? Was that not one of the siblings of Atlas? Or maybe I'm wrong. You know, who is Atarantis? I still want to know. And I'm going to have to use this video to look it up, or just use my PowerPoint. It's not PowerPoint. It's Google Slides. All right. Gizantis, Vikis. These names are all very interesting. Memphis. Nile. Flowing. What is this? FL. I think that means river. Doesn't mean... Is that the same word? Flowing? I thought the other word didn't have an F. This is the Christopher Columbus map. And I do believe that was the one that showed the... Maybe I'm wrong. This is the Christopher Columbus map. So you have some of the Americas. It's so much worse than the Perry Reese map. This is the map. Okay, so this is the 1459 Fra Mauro map, and it's rotated. I don't know which way is up, but you can see here that's Africa, Spain, and here you have a real problem with... I don't know what you call that in Africa, but Western Africa has a big chunk of land over the Atlantic Ocean. That chunk of land right there, what's that sea called? If you comment and tell me, I'll learn it. Here you can pretty much see no rivers. I think I get a little closer, but there's the Senegal. You don't really see, I believe that's the Canary Islands. This is the Cape Verde Islands. So here's where you would find rivers. Probably, maybe that's Cape Blanco, and maybe this is Cape Verde. Oh, we don't show it? Alright, we don't show it. I'm not going to zoom in there because I never really was impressed. It's a beautiful map. It looks kind of like a lion's head eating something. I think maybe he did that on purpose. Oh, is that close up? Did I just... What happened? Okay, I guess that's closer than I remembered. But if I look at this, I do see like what looks like could be a lake, or is that a notes? Looks like notes and maybe a river, maybe not. Looks like there's some small rivers, but I believe that looks like a river. So maybe there are some rivers right there going over towards... We don't have a Tropic of Cancer in this map. We don't have that one reference, but we do have the Canary Islands. It's below the Canary Islands. There's a river coming out. Then we have a big point, which could be Cape Verde. But you don't see the river north of Cape Verde. So what I'm thinking is that this is Cape Verde and that this is Cape Merrick. But then you don't have the river. So who knows? Who knows? I have to get up close. And maybe I could research that now that I have a better understanding how to search maps. This map, it's kind of the same story. 1300 needed to be rotated. This is another version of the pictures I've found. I zoomed in, and as I mentioned, there's maps. I think that you can see some names. Maybe those are not the names of islands. Maybe those are notes. This certainly does look like... What is this? This is a mountain. So this is Morocco. This is a mountain. This is... Where's the Atlas Mountains? This is a very poor map. It looks like a Roman map. Or Apollo. Maybe it's Greek. Maybe it's Ptolemaic. And when I say that, I mean that they're based on the origin maps. Because we know that these maps were copied over and over and over again and sold and profited from. Cartographers copied their maps. I believe that there was more than one copy of the Piri-Reis map. Now this map here is kind of weak. You can see what I believe is the Senegal. You can see what I believe is the Atlas Mountains. But you do have rivers going in. Well, maybe this is the drawer, right? Maybe this does show it. Because you see that these are the Atlas Mountains and any other mountain that goes across northern Africa. And then you've got a separate mountain which is darker, which is true, right? If you look at the map, the drawer mountains are darker brown. And you see these two rivers going up towards between... Maybe that's Wadane, who knows? Or we see the same thing happening here. This was 1154, and the publisher was Mohammed al-Idrisi. And we don't get a close-up, but this is basically... is that the same one? No. But we see a relationship here, this curved mountains, and then you've got this straight mountain. You see that on both maps. I think it's coming from the same source material, but what you get here, you see two rivers going in and coming together into one river, but here you see two rivers staying separate, one going to the mountains, one going north of the mountains, south of the Atlas Mountains. It's pretty small, but I'm sure if you want to get a closer look, you can look that up. In addition, you've got all these other rivers in the northern Africa area. You've also got rivers going across the Sahara, meeting the Nile here. That's the Senegal, right? I think they just assumed it's the Senegal, but other maps show a river going across this way, coming to not the Senegal. The Maghreb Sea, in my opinion. Here's something about Ptolemy. And I believe he was an Egyptian king who had cartographers and did his part in circumferencing the world. Is that a word? Navigating? Not him personally, but sending out boats. Maximus. I don't know. I'd like to read this again. I'm not going to spend time on it now. This is the Ptolemaic map part, Getulia, does that mean Egypt? Maybe Ptolemy lost a lot of knowledge and he wasn't looking at the ancient information. What year did the Library of Alexandria burn down? All right, I'm almost finished here. I'm going to go through these pretty quick. This one is really hard to see, but this is a mountain range going across Africa here. And you can see, I actually want to take another look at this map again. I don't know if I should zoom in or if we can look at it. We can see some rivers going to the Atlas Mountains. Is that the Adrar? I don't know. We can see a king. We've heard stories about a king who was the richest man in the world. He had more gold than anyone, right? I forgot his name. 450 BC. I think what we're looking at here is a reference to Herodotus. So that's 2,500 years ago. Here it is, Africa from the opening titles of Casablanca. This is a European, French West Africa map. So Mauritania and that already, this is all BS, really. I mean, even though these maps were produced, I don't think that the tribes that lived there believed this ever. And there was no way to enforce it. Modern day Africa with everything green. Is that what it looks like? Is it green like that? Let me know, please, if I don't believe it is, but if it is this green, and if I should understand that during springtime it gets this green, I'd like to know, because I do believe we're heading towards a regreening of the Sahara. Oh, the Maghreb Sea. That's the Maghreb Sea, in my opinion. The ancient Maghreb Sea. These are just some old pictures. I don't know what I'm getting at. I'm just going through here quickly. There's some maps that show modern day stuff. I'm just going over it again. I didn't want to go too fast. I don't know what we're looking at here. It was the early days when I was just starting out. This is offshore. There's a pipeline that we discovered. So the Chingeti oil field, what is, oh, that's out in the middle. I don't know. Are they mining oil out there? I thought that there was oil coming out of here. Oh, is it a gas place? Yeah, they've got a gas place out here. There's a pipeline that I've seen. I can't remember where it was, but it's in one of my videos. And they've got some, it goes underground, and then they got these stations that they serve, the smaller stations. Anyways, it's a long time ago, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it goes right across here, that direction. I'm not sure. So yeah, there's natural gas. There's hot water. We've heard, but I've never seen it. Right? I like to see evidence. This is regarding Western Sahara's free zone, Polisario free zone, and Morocco controlled zone. I'd love some input on that. I need to do my research. I don't know what's going on. I thought that was a beautiful stamp, so I put it in my presentation. This is a really nice map, and I don't know where I got it. It's topographical. I actually got it from full size, but the resolution is so good you can see the Eye of Africa right there. And if you see, that's Cape Blanco, you can see the Eye of Africa is pretty much straight line. So when you look at these maps, you can locate it right there. Another thing you would locate is there it is right there. That's the Tamanrasset River. You can see it flowing, and it comes down here. So it definitely could have had so many canals feeding. I think we get a little closer. This little thing, there's a big old mountain right there, and it's dark when you look at Google. And I always thought that it came on this side of that mountain, but I was wrong, according to this. And it flew on the other side of that mountain. So, and that mountain's right there. So there was a big valley or some plain here. There's some more mountains, the Adrar, and then you've got this other, which I think is the level plain Plato wrote about. And anytime you get in the mountains, you can see residual canals. I've already demonstrated that. You can see those around here. You can see them over here. You can see them up here. In this plain, you can see them under the sand dunes, that there are striations where you can see the old under floodplain that doesn't have sand. Randall Carlson actually questioned those dunes and wondered if they were really made by wind. Here you can see again the ancient Taman Reset River flowing. There definitely is a shoreline here, so maybe there was an ancient lake here that nobody's willing to admit. There it is again. You can definitely see striations going towards the ocean, make you think it has nothing to do with wind. You can see these sand dunes very clearly with this. I think if you put on X-ray glasses, it will be very, very nice. I might be wrong. I forgot where I got this, but it's showing ancient lakes and water basins. And so here's the Maghreb. Here's Mega Chad, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, over here. That's Mega Chad. This is Mega Fazan. They don't talk about Maghreb. They do talk about the Shots Lake. I think this is actually a different time. But this one shows the Maghreb Sea and the Taman Reset coming from it. And I did a little trick here. And by the way, this topographical map, I don't know who made it, but that's really it, right? That's the Maghreb Sea right there. You can kind of see this thing kind of matches this thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's a nice map I found. And you can see the Maghreb Sea goes right on there and lines right up with the actual lines of existing rivers. See, that's the Piri Reis map. That was actually in the 1500s. I don't know why it's there. It shouldn't be there. Let me move that out of there. Where's that? The most modern map I have is 1800s. I think I have another one here. See, I have everything. That has it. Western Sahara. All right. Now, maybe you can tell me more about your opinion between Western Sahara and Morocco. I understand there's land mines. I understand that there are walls of sand. I've looked at them in the maps. One of my favorite things in Morocco is this. I'll show you because I want to go... Well, maybe I'll get out of the Getty and use that. I need to move that to the top of my presentation. I don't know why these are not at the top of the presentation. Now, this one right here, amazing stuff. I don't want to steal too much of it. I'm going to show you the description. But the things he does to the map is incredible. And he talks about maps a lot. And I really recommend it. I wanted to find one slide to show you what he does. And he actually really proved a lot more that I didn't know about this map. There it is. Let's take a look at that. So as you can see, he put it onto the globe, and I think somebody mentioned this. And by the way, here you don't see it on South America, but he actually does stretch it out. I think he does it later on. Let's try it a little bit later. And there's a lot of things I've talked about this map already. Let's see if he does it here. Is that it? Yeah, that looks more like it. And he used a different type of... oh, let him talk about it. I don't even want to try. He's really good. So I do recommend that highly if you're interested in this map. This is an interesting map from the local area. I think that you might have fun. You can look that one up. Maybe if you type that in. I think I did it. I typed that in, but I couldn't find a digital version of this. This is something somebody hand drew. It's an interesting map. It says Guel Richat. So according to my understanding, richat means it's what was the word? It's sunk down in, and then gweld means it was center or heart. I forgot. Wadan, W-A-D-A-N. Where's Wadane? Down here. Chingeti's there. These words, that must be the local language, eh? You can see this shoreline. What is it referred to as? This blue shoreline. It's a cliff. It's a mountain cliff. El Bayed. I mean, these places have names, but their populations are very small. Attar, big city there, eh? Chingeti, pretty big. I'd like to go to Attar and then drive from there. Or maybe even another form of transportation like motorcycle. This is, forgot how many miles. Oh, this says right here, 60 kilometers. So that's about 6,100. This is 25 right here. So if that's 25, this is the places I want to go. I'd like to go to the end here. So basically that's 100, 100. 4 of these is 100. That's 100, that's 100, that's 100, that's 100. Probably best to get a motorcycle or a 4x if you can afford it. Obviously, I'd love to have a 4x. You can do the whole thing in one day. This is the axial projection. This map is the axial projection. It's not a flat Earth map, okay? It's not a flat Earth map because it shows both poles. It shows the North Pole here. It shows the South Pole down here. Now, I've cut it off because I want to show you this map. I've shown it for a long time now. It's actually a meme that I got from somebody who's showing all the different megalithic structures along this circle. And I, at that time, thought, hey, listen, the pole would have had to have been here. Maybe, I think I figured out it was like the tip of Alaska. So if the North Pole used to be here, this would have been the equator. Guess what else is on this line? Guess what else is on this line? Oh yeah, the richat structure. Look at that. Now you can see that's Morocco. This is Mauritania, and you can see it goes right through. Wait a minute, I'm sorry, that's not Morocco. Morocco's here. Anyways, that line right there goes to the eye of the Sahara, which is right there. Right where my arrow is. Okay, right here. That's the eye of the Sahara, and it's on this line. So maybe there was some type of a pre-axial pole shift that we had, some type of a pole shift from Alaska to here. This is current North Pole, but the Alaska North Pole, that was the one that would have correlated with this as a previous. It's about 23.5 degrees off. So, I don't know, 23.5 degrees actually is the same as our precession. Well, see, there you go. Our precession of the equinox is 23.5 degrees.